All right, so 11.5, we're doing both parts. We're doing in part A is the volume of a pyramid. Part B is the volume of a cone. The beautiful thing about it is, if you look, they're the same formula. So we're just doing 4 problems, all using that same formula. If you only hear one thing from me today, let it be this. But don't only hear one thing. Just pay attention. Hear it all. But this is huge. Okay? 1/3 is part of our formula. You cannot plug that in as 0.3 or 0.33 or 0.33333333, okay? 1/3 is not that number. 1/3 is, if you're trying to be exact, okay, 1/3 is 0.3 repeating, which you cannot put into a calculator because what is true about 0.3 repeating? It is infinite. It has no end, okay? So do not put 0.3 in as 1/3. They are not the same number. What is the number 0.3? 3/10, right? 0.3 is 3/10. That is not 1/3. It doesn't reduce to 1/3. Don't ever use it, okay? You are just gonna put this number into your calculator every single time. Now, if you're not sure how to put that in, you have 2 options. You can go 1 divided by 3, or you can go 1, and then there's a button on your calculator. I feel like it looks like that, and that will turn it into a fraction for you. If you haven't ever found that before, it's there. I personally like this better. I just go 1 divided by 3 every single time, okay? But you don't have to. You may use the 1 fraction button 3 setup. Just don't do 0.3. You will get the wrong answer if you plug in 0.3 as 1/3, okay? Okay, so on that note, here is your formula. 1/3, what does a capital B stand for?
Base.
The area of the base. Okay, what does H stand for? The height of the figure. Okay, in this case, the height of the pyramid. Okay, what I need you to pay attention to on this one is that your H is always going to be perpendicular to the base. Okay, because we have talked about a different type of height, if you recall. If you go back up here, right? What did L stand for? Not length.
Base.
Slant height, right? L was the slant height. That is not the same height that we're going to talk about today. So slant height, that was this one. Okay, the height, the H height, that's this one. All right, so just keep those straight. They are different. You do not use them interchangeably. Okay? Okay, I'm going to erase the slant height because we don't want it. And we're going to find some volume here. So volume of a pyramid, if we are doing volume equals 1/3 times B times H, can anyone tell me right now? It says it's a square pyramid. What is B? 11 times 11, right? The area of your base is base times height, or 11 squared because it's a square. So 121 would be B. So you have 1/3 times 121. What is H? It's the 6, right? It's that perpendicular to your base. It's the one that goes down the middle of your figure most of the time. So you're just going to plug that into your calculator. Plug it in because I want to make sure you know how to plug in 1/3 and not 0.3. Plug that in and tell me what you get. One-third times 121 times 6.
242.
You should get 242. And then you label its volume inches cubed.
It would be pi.
No, when does pi show up? Circles. Yep, and we don't have a circle here, so no pi. Questions on that? Okay. Another square pyramid, but we don't have the height. What do you do? Pythagorean theorem. So if they give you a slant height, which they did on this one as 25, this is always going to be half of the length of the side of your base in a right pyramid, which is mostly what you'll be working with. And then this is h. So you're going to do h squared plus 20 squared equals 25 squared. Now, I've had some in my last class that were still doing this wrong, so I want to make sure you're all clear. When I solve this for h, you can just take away 20 squared right now. That does not, are you hearing me? Does not equal 5 squared. You cannot go 25 minus 20. It's not 25 minus 20. It's 25 squared minus 20 squared. So put it into your calculator, 25 squared minus 20 squared, and you should get 225, okay? Do not subtract your whole numbers there. So h squared is 225, so then you take the square root of that, and h is 15. Okay, so then if we're trying to find the volume, remember volume is 1/3 times b times h. What is b right now?
40 times 4.
Right, your area of your base is 40 squared, or 1600. So you get 1/3 times 1600 times what?
50.
The height that we just found using Pythagorean Theorem. So times 15. Plug that into your calculator.
8,000
You get 8,000 what?
units.
Units cubed. That's not so bad, right? A 6-minute lesson? Who doesn't love a 6-minute lesson? Any questions on that so far? Scroll back up. Yeah, Jessica.
So for finding the volume of 3 different heights, it's always going to be cubed, like 3.
Volume is always cubed. Yep. Units cubed.
And then,
Quinn.
So the quiz tomorrow is only in these 2 lessons.
11.4 and 11.5. So these two and the ones we did before.
When will I'm gonna be gone Friday. Should I take it tomorrow?
Can you take it tomorrow? When do you have study hall?
First,
Just come here first period.
I'll know everything. I'll have everything down.
Yeah, because we're going to take a practice quiz at the end of class today that looks very similar to that quiz. So, okay, 11.5b, second half of the lesson, okay? This one, same formula, but now it's a cone. So what joins us in this formula? Pi, yes. So it's still 1/3 BH, and this is the one I will give to you. I will give you a piece of paper that looks like this, 1/3 BH, okay? But if you want, you could think of this. B is what when you have a circle involved?
pi 4 squared.
Pi r squared, right? And then times the height. So I don't care if you want to memorize that. I'm going to give you 1/3 BH. If you need to think of it as 1/3 pi r squared h, or you would like to think of it that way, you are welcome to. That's up to you. Okay. 2 questions, and then we're done. The first one.
Is it really quick? It's pi r squared and then what?
H. Because this b
Do that.
is this, right? B is the area of the base, which is pi r squared. So I just substituted. Okay, so example 3 says how many cubic centimeters of water does this cup hold? So I'm going to work this one out with you, and then I'm going to have you try the next one on your own. What do we plug in for B? 1/3 BH. What's going to go here? Pi 4 squared. So they gave you the diameter of 8. The radius is 4. So it's 1/3 times pi times 4 squared. That's your B. What do you do for H? Pythagorean Theorem, okay? And this one doesn't work out nicely. This is not a beautiful Pythagorean triple. So you're going to go 4 squared plus h squared equals 11 squared, okay? Again, take away the 4 squared. Don't take away 4. Take away 4 squared. So h squared is 11 squared minus 4 squared is 105. Take the square root of that, and you get h is 10.247, okay? So that's going to go here, 10.247. Okay, now here's the deal. It says how many cubic centimeters of water does this cup hold? Remember, it's like you go run a marathon and they hand you all these little cute little cups. Have any of you run a marathon before? Probably not, huh?
Have you ever drank water out of a cup like that besides the golf course?
Yes, because I've only been on a golf course like a handful of times in my life. I feel like at like a basketball tournament as a kid, or I don't know. Did I what?
Those are the snow cone cups.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is like the bigger version, sure.
Change
But
the problem to, let's see, you get
no,
ice.
have none of you drank out of a cup like this?
No, I have. and
See,
it gets- I
he's
have
a
to
runner
get solid.
because you're a runner. No, you're not a runner.
What am I gonna do, Mr. Hoop? Am I gonna put it in my cup holder?
Oh yes, with the little. There you go. That's where you find them. They're on the little the little water coolers.
Are we in a recorded lesson?
You are the recorded. I did it again.
Yeah, and am I gonna drive in my car with a cup, a cylinder?
No, this is not a.
in my hand?
Oh my goodness,
It's
Quinn.
gonna get
This is
soggy
not
and
a
my
travel
car will get
thing.
wet.
This is not a travel thing. No, this is a like quick need to grab a drink, like in the office.
I'll have like a solo cup.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway, okay, fine, Quinn. Go have a snow cone and tell me how much melted.
I want nothing more than a snow cone right now.
Because this is the recorded lesson, and now Sebastian's here, which is just even more distraction.
You should just mute it.
Okay, so anyway, all that to say, you're gonna plug this in because it's rounded already. So plug everything in. 1/3 times pi times 4 squared times 10.247. What'd you get?
54.65.
No. Try it again. Plug it in again. Plug in everything. Did you plug in the pi too?
Oh no.
Yeah, plug in pi too. So you should be getting 171.690. So if we're rounding to the nearest cubic centimeter, it would be 172 cubic centimeters.
Wait, I thought you
Okay.
don't
That's what I was saying. Because it says how many cubic centimeters, whenever it's a real world situation, basically, you're going to plug it in. But the reason we're plugging it in right now is this is already rounded. So there's no use keeping it in terms of pi, because in terms of pi is the exact answer, and we don't have an exact answer. So if you've rounded somewhere, round the whole thing. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. Try number 4 on your own. Oh, you haven't done this yet? Oh, you're learning. Okay, so here it is. Finding the volume. Notice it says in terms of pi and to the nearest. Okay, so you're going to give 2 answers, a rounded and an exact. Volume is 1/3 BH, so it's 1/3. What is the area of your base?
8 pi. 8 squared is 6 pi.
8 squared times pi, right? So 64 pi. What's h?
15.
The height is given to you, the perpendicular, right? It's 15. Okay, so for an exact answer, you're doing 1/3 times 64 times 15, which is 320. Then you can attach your pi, inches cubed. Okay? How do you do the rounded answer then? Plug it in. Think Glade. Do you guys know what Glade plugins are? Is that something like so old that you don't even know what it is? Glade plugins?
Glade plugins.
They used to have an advertisement. Plug it in, plug it in. How'd I what?
What you just
That's
wrote down.
easy.
I plugged this into my calculator.
Oh, so that's what it is.